She's provocative, somewhat annoying, and fat kids make her mad. This is the MalaniKai Show, live on Love 860 WAEC.
My email address is MalaniKai, MalaniKai at the MalaniKaiShow.com. I appreciate you listening and tuning in from all around the country, in Atlanta, however you're listening to the show. As promised, coming out of last break, we were talking about the last caller actually mentioned it. She said that black people are just brainwashed and she didn't use the word brainwash. She just said that they're manipulated, and I got the impression she was saying it's the white media's fault because they're putting the propaganda out there. I want to help some of you come off the mental plantation, and I want to help some of you understand what is going on. So I brought in a guest who I think will help point us to Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Angela McGlowan.
God bless America! God bless America! So when I heard a liberal commentator say that this movement was about ignorant rednecks bashing a black president, I had to make a stand as a black conservative. You have folks out there that are victimhood vendors like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. In our community, a lot of folks believe that America is against them. The gangster rappers, the whole 9 yards. And Michelle Obama was preying on that, saying in essence, this is the first time she's ever been proud of a country that's given her so much opportunity. We have 7 out of 10 black babies that are being born out of wedlock. We have rampant drug abuse in our neighborhoods. We have inner city schools that are failing us. I can go on and on and on, John. And we're upset and protesting because a black man, and not from my standpoint, he doesn't look like King Kong. To me, is on the cover of Vogue magazine. Would it be better? Would it have been better if he was in a tuxedo eating watermelon?
What about this?
Americans are suffering. People have told me, Angela, please go back to Washington, D.C. and tell them that we don't want unemployment. We don't want public assistance. We want a job.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MalaniKai Show. Fox News political analyst and best-selling author of the book BAMBOOZLED, How Americans Are Being Exploited by the Lies of the Liberal Agenda. Angela McGlowan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and what an intro. I almost got tears in my eyes. That was beautiful. Who is that young lady? Who is that? Oh, that's me.
How have you been since the last time we talked? The last time we talked, you were in Mississippi and you were running for Congress in the 1st Congressional District. And since then, we've been hitting and missing, trying to set up this interview. But here we are. What have you been up to since then?
Well, I want to tell you, in Mississippi, I didn't win Congress. We lost the battle, but we won the war. I was the first black and female to run in that district since the history of Mississippi. And I still have old black women, old black men, white men and white women thanking me for doing that, to break that cycle, to show folks down there anybody can run for office. Since then, I've been back on Fox News just trying to hold up the right words to say, to get people to stop dealing with bamboozling politicians and to vote their conscience. Not culture, vote their conscience and be informed. So I've been on the news channel as much as I possibly can, just talking about what matters.
Angela McGlowan, Fox News political analyst on the MalaniKai Show. Speaking of, some people may not know, so I'll have to tell them that you are African American, and that is crucial to talk about. You're talking about Mississippi, and you're African American, and you are known to a lot of blacks as a sellout because you are not a Democrat. But you come from Mississippi. You've seen racism. You talked about being the first black running for office. What do you say to those who say Angela McGlowan, she was out there speaking for the Tea Party. She's a Uncle Tom, a sellout, and she's just on Fox to make money?
The reason why I joined the Tea Party movement, it's about tax enough already. And as you see, we have a very bad economy. We have high unemployment in the black community, much more than the national unemployment rate. So if people want to call me an Uncle Tom, if people want to call me a Sambo, Oreo, whatever, if they listen to actually what I'm saying, they know that I'm telling the truth. Before I even go on the air, I always say, let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable in thy sight. Oh, Lord, you are my strength and my redeemer. And with that, I can't go wrong. Another thing I want to say, they talked about Jesus Christ.
Uh-oh.
He's the only man that never sinned. So what are they going to do about me? See what I'm saying?
Angela McGlowan, on page 5 of your book, Bamboozled, How Americans Are Being Exploited by the Lies of the Liberal Agenda, and I quote, most Americans recognize that over the last 40 years, there has been a breakdown of the traditional family. And over the last few years, that breakdown has accelerated. Let's now fast forward to President Barack Hussein Obama and his endorsement of sodomy. What were your thoughts when he came out? Of course, you probably weren't crazy like me. You already knew that he endorsed a lot of sodomy activity. So when he actually came out and endorsed sodomy, or people can call it gay marriage if they want to, he endorsed that, right? What were your initial thoughts about that?
Well, and this is going to surprise you. Now, Mitt Romney has never said that he supports gay marriage. From my standpoint, God created Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. But this is what President Obama said. He said that he supports gay marriage, but he's going to leave it up to the states. Mitt Romney says he's against it, but he's going to leave it up to the states. Now, if a politician, if I have any gay, bisexual, transgendered people out there listening to this, if a politician really supports something, they can promote legislation as they do with the budget, as they do with health care, as they do with jobs, dealing with something that they support. So it was a political stand. And Obama's Machiavellian. I can say this. He's one of the best politicians I know. Poor administrator, poor president, but he's a very good politician. And this man does not say anything that he doesn't mean, that's not well vetted, and that's not well polled. And after he made that statement that he supports gay marriage, George Clooney held a fundraiser and in Obama's honor, and Obama raised $15 million.
$15 million?
$15 million in one night.
You're listening to the MalaniKai Show, Fox News analyst Angela McGlowan, and we're talking about some things in her best-selling book, Bamboozled, How Americans Are Being Exploited by the Lies of the Liberal Agenda. Angela, back to the gay marriage and the homosexuals. Whenever somebody like you or I or other conservatives stand on the principle that marriage is between a man and a woman, and we say that we believe, well, I don't know if you believe it's a sin. I believe that it certainly is a sin. I believe that it's wrong. It is a moral deviant. And whenever we say that, what I'm starting to see in mainstream media, especially on your competitor, is that all of a sudden saying that something is wrong turns to hate. It's no longer just like, it's just wrong. To me, it's just wrong. But now they have manipulated it. And if you say it's wrong, if you say it's a sin, all of a sudden now you have this hatred towards homosexuals.
There you go. Not only are you homophobic, you're a gay basher, and you're prejudiced. But let me tell you what they're doing now on Capitol Hill, dealing with the most bamboozlement of our people. Do you know that people from the Democratic caucus attended a training session with their aides, and the majority of these members of Congress were Black and Hispanic caucus members, where it was a Center for Social Inclusion funded by George Soros, and it was a lecture given by Maya Wiley. Now, she's the daughter of neo-communist agitator George Wiley. In any event, she was saying, in essence, how members of Congress can use the race card and the gay card to combat conservatives. That the right-wing message undermines efforts to create a more equal society. that our message as conservatives is racially coded, and also there's racial rhetoric in it. So basically, if you talk about the sanctity of marriage, running for re-election, then your opponent should say you're homophobic.
Right.
You don't want people, it's a civil rights issue. You don't want people to have equal rights. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I see it. It's morphing into a monster. It really is.
And we had members of Congress on our tax dollar who we pay their salaries, where they should be creating policies to give us jobs, actually attending a training seminar to utilize race and same-sex marriage as an issue to take away from the conservative message.
I believe it. 100%. We're talking to Angela McGlowan. You were talking about chapter 1 in your book. I want to read something from there. You say the bamboozlers mantra become, we liberals are here to help you. Don't let those evil conservatives like Angela McGlowan judge you. You are the victim. You shouldn't have to work. Your standard of living isn't your responsibility. It's ours. You don't need to marry your baby's daddy. Uncle Sam is your baby's daddy, and we will be as long as you keep voting for us. You once were a Democrat, Angela McGlowan?
I was a Democrat. My father was an independent. My mother is still a Democrat, but she voted for McCain and George W. Bush dealing with the right to life and sanctity of marriage issue. Once I moved to Washington, D.C., after graduating from college, and by the way, being a black in Mississippi, you were supposed to be a Democrat. You were born black, born Democrat. There was no choice. So I was a political science major and still didn't see the light. But once I moved to D.C., and at that time, D.C. was the murder capital of the world per capita. We had drive-by shootings. And I saw that the Black Caucus at that time really weren't creating policies to help our community. That I saw that Marion Barry, the crack-smoking mayor, wasn't doing much to help our community. But then I met Jack Kemp, God rest his soul, who had Empower America, empowerment zones. Then I met Bob Dole. And then I looked at the parties, those parties where conservatives, they want to give you tools to build the house, not the house. See, even Jesus said, and I'm paraphrasing, about not giving a man a fish, teach him how to fish.
I hear you.
And I'm not saying that all Democrats are bad. You have blue dog Democrats that are just as conservative as I am. But for women and people of color, for minorities, we need people on both sides of the aisle to get the job done. And that's what I do. I keep them honest. As Anderson Cooper says, he keeps them honest, I keep them honest and put it out there. So one of the main reasons why I'm conservative, it's my belief, number one. But number two, I want people who don't know me, and when they see me on the air and they don't have the volume turned up, I want them to think that I'm a Democrat. Once they listen to what I have to say, they're like, wait a minute, what did you say?
There's a book out there called White Guilt, and you quoted Shelby Steele. Tell my audience what white guilt is.
Okay. Well, and I even said this on Sean Hannity's radio show, okay? Mm-hmm. White folks put down the bag of guilt dealing with slavery, dealing with injustices that were done to black folk in the past. We are equal to you. We have opportunity. So you don't have to feel sorry or go out of your way or vote for a black man running for president or running for re-election because he's a black man. Y'all need to wake up and look at the qualifications and let that go. Break that, you know the sinful sins of the father? You know, the
yes.
They need to let that go from their ancestors and see us as people. White guilt is when you feel sorry.
When the white people feel sorry for the black people for something that their ancestors that they've never met before did to one of my forefathers, grandmothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunt.
Yes.
I'm looking at my white producer, Jared, right now, and I'm staring him in his eyes. I'm trying to figure out, I'm giving him that Angela McGlowan squint, trying to figure out if he has white guilt. Angela McGlowan. Thank you so very much for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, you can catch Angela McGlowan on any given day on Fox News. She's on Sean Hannity, both television and radio. She's doing a whole lot, and she speaks her mind. The motto for my show is Dare to Speak Your Mind. It is a pleasure having you on the show. If it takes another year, we'll get you back on because Richard helped make that happen, Angela.
Yes, ma'am, I will. And you can catch me every Saturday. I have my own segment at 1:05 Eastern on Fox News.
On Fox News. I didn't know that was your own segment. I saw you tweeting it every single week, but now it makes sense. It's your own segment.
It's my own segment, yeah.
I look forward to it. And Angela, if you feel the need to throw a punch, you know, that YouTube video will go viral. And then you would get your own show. So I endorse. I'm just kidding with you. Angela McGlowan, thank you so very much. And I appreciate something else that you do. You'll tell your people on Twitter, you'll say, follow Jesus Christ, follow Laura Bush, follow Michael Jackson, and follow MalaniKai. And I'm like, wow, this is great.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
You're the girl.
Thank you, Angela McGlowan. And we'll get you on soon. Tell Richard I said thank you so very much for setting this up.